Why do we need a local food supply for our island chain in Hawaii? Hawaii is the most remote landmass on the planet. If we can't get food from off island, we're in bad shape. More than 80% of our food supply currently comes from off island. Being able to produce our own food can do tremendous things for our local economy. And not only that, but the freshness of the food. When you consider food being shipped from thousands of miles away, and it may set at ports from here to there, and then it sits in the store for a while. So how fresh is it, and how much nutrition does it have left? Compared to food that you would buy the next day after it's harvested from a local farm. So food security, what does that mean? It means the availability of food and the ability to access it. So the many levels of food security, for your individual self, for your family, for your friends, your neighborhood, the city that you live in, the county, the state, our whole state of Hawaii. Regional, if you're more on the mainland, the country that you live in, and the globe. Food security is needed for everyone on the globe. But what we're going to talk about today is mostly our island of Maui and our state of Hawaii. That's one reason we need food security. But also, by growing our own food, we build the local economy tremendously, because it takes so many people to grow and prepare the food that we eat. So right now, about 80% or more of our food in Hawaii comes from off-island, mostly on the mainland or some other countries. What we're trying to do is change that scenario so that we can depend more on ourselves here in Hawaii for our food supply. We've been working hard on that aspect for 13 years with our business called Local Harvest. So what can you do for food security? You can grow a garden in your backyard. The food would be very close to you. You can save food for up to a year or so. You can save water also. You can start a community garden, shop at farmers markets, and support the local growers. You can distribute locally grown food. You can make value-added products out of local ingredients. So many ways that you can contribute to the local food supply. So one simple thing you can do in case of an emergency is to save some food. If you have a food supply, then there'd be a lot less panic. If everyone did this, no one would need to panic. They would have their food for a month, 2 months, a year, whatever is needed. And some of the foods you could save, beans and grains, dried vegetables and fruits, honey. Honey lasts forever, never goes bad. And of course water, you want to save water. Canned foods, dried foods, coconuts. If you live in Hawaii, coconuts last a very long time. And coconut water is one of the most hydrating liquids that you can have. And also there's nut butters, nuts and seeds, crackers, seaweeds. You can use your imagination, There's so many things that have a long shelf life that you could store at least a month's supply. Some people may question whether it's possible for us to grow all our own food here in Hawaii. But back in the 1700s, it's estimated there were about 1 million people living in Hawaii, and they grew all their own food. And it wasn't really possible to bring food in, so they had no choice. So it is possible, and now that we have all this equipment and can make things more efficient, it should be not so difficult to grow all our own food. And the system they had in Hawaii was called ahupua'a, known as from the mountain to the sea, because they had different climate zones, near the sea compared to the mountains. So they could grow a large variety of crops. And they had 12 mokus. on the island. So they had 90 ahupua'as on the island of Maui. And each ahupua'a was self-reliant in their food supply. You know? So now we have all this good transportation available that we can move things from one place to another. So it shouldn't be so difficult to be able to provide our own food. So why did the system of ahupua'a end on Maui, or all the Hawaiian Islands? The primary reason was because of the plantations that came in, and they started growing thousands of acres of sugarcane and pineapple. So they took the land, basically, where the ahupua'as were. And now some of those plantations are disappearing because eventually that type of agriculture doesn't work, especially on an island like Maui. And those crops that they were growing were mostly shipped off island to the mainland. So now it's time to create more local farms, bring back the concept of growing from the mountain to the sea, and create our own food supply. So we started a company called Local Harvest about 13 years ago, and our mission is to feed an island with local food. Our goal is to take the island of Maui from 20% self-reliance in food to 50% by the year 2030 by working with like-minded organizations, farmers, and buyers of produce on the island. So according to an organization called PROUT, the Progressive Utilization Theory, all our basic necessities of life should be provided on a local level through the cooperative system. By going through the cooperative system, we are able to provide those necessities at a lower cost, and also the money that is made would be shared by the people involved in the cooperative. Because no one should really be getting rich on basic necessities of life. So today we're talking about food, which is the most basic need. And why do we need food security? Why do we need a local food supply? Well, local food supply means food security, a stronger local economy, and more nutritious, fresh food. The cooperative system includes several types of cooperatives, starting with farmer cooperatives, producer cooperatives, and then consumer cooperatives. So basically the whole economy can run on this cooperative system. Corporations are not even needed. With corporations, we tend to concentrate the wealth into a few hands. With a cooperative system, we spread out that wealth where everybody is well off, not just a handful. Our company, Local Harvest, works through 4 avenues to help build the local food supply. We have a wholesale division that sells to stores and restaurants. We have home delivery that delivers directly to more than 200 homes. We have a value-added product business where we use local ingredients and make those products here on the island of Maui. And we also have farmers markets that we sell locally made and locally grown food. I should mention that there are plenty of challenges for us to grow our own food here in Hawaii. For example, the farmers, they have issues with pigs, deer, weather challenges, hurricanes, rodents. Theft is actually an issue as well. And lack of help. It's hard to get enough people that want to work on a farm. You know, we have competition from the hotels where the jobs are many times easier and sometimes pay more. So that's some of the challenges we face, but even with that, we've been able to expand and grow every year. Last year, I think we grew 25% in our business, and it looks like this year may be close to that as well. So we have to overcome these obstacles, and it's certainly possible to do that. One thing that's happened in the last few years here on Maui is that the sugarcane industry, plantation, has ended. And that opens up opportunity to grow many different kinds of food here on the island. So there's good and bad to what has happened. This land has been taken over by a company called Mahipono, and they are growing a large variety of food, fruits, vegetables, etc., which is good, and a lot of that, probably the majority of that, will be used locally, although if they have too much, they'll have to ship it off island. That's the good part. The bad part is it's not a locally owned business, so it doesn't help the local economy as much as it could. So last year, we purchased locally grown food, produce, macadamia nuts, and honey from about 150 growers and approximately 1.8 million pounds of produce. And we distribute to many different avenues: stores, restaurants, farmers markets, and other islands. We ship to 4 other islands. We try to have 2 to 4 growers for each item that we offer so that we can provide a consistent supply to our customers. And at this point, we can offer about 200 items, fairly consistent, although some are seasonal and just cannot be gotten at particular times. But for the most part, we provide a consistent supply of produce to our customers. We're fortunate here on Maui to have a wide diversity in our farming community, coming from many different cultures, and they have knowledge of growing so many different types of fruits, vegetables. This slide and the next one shows some of the diversity of the food that we can grow here in Hawaii. It's just a wide variety, and we're so lucky to have all this that can be grown on an island like Maui and the other islands here. This slide shows some of the variety of things that you could grow in your own yard or on a small parcel of land. And there's a lot of expertise here on the island that you can contact if you need help. And there's also a lot of information on the internet that's available. But I'd recommend growing some things, whatever you like, a few items in your own yard. And that would be very helpful. Another thing that would be helpful is saving seeds. Now, we may not think about this, but if we have a long emergency where we run out of our stored food, or we can't get food, the supermarkets are closed, whatever. If you have seeds, you can keep planting. When you're getting low in your garden, you can keep planting and you'll have a consistent supply. So saving seeds, especially on islands like in Hawaii, is really important and something we should consider having our own seed bank. We've been working with a researcher at the University of Hawaii. His name is Amjad, and he has so much experience growing dried beans. And he's researched 70 different varieties of dried beans growing here in Hawaii, and has narrowed it down to maybe 10 or so that do very well here in different climates. And we're lining up farmers right now to start growing these beans, and it'll provide a good vegetarian source of protein. We've been doing market research actually on this project as well. We've had a focus group, and we've done a couple of test markets in stores and found what price we could offer that people are willing to pay. That was a big issue for the farmers. How much can I sell it for? And it's worked out pretty well. We can get the farmer a good price, and we can get the consumer a price that they're willing to pay. And we found that the majority of people that we've talked to do want to support something like this because it's an important type of food that we can have here locally. Another part of our company is called Island Fresh Delivery. This business actually started in 2014, and we took it over about 6 years ago and expanded it. We're currently delivering over 200 boxes of fresh local produce direct to homes, and we're also making over 200 boxes for people who were impacted by the Lahaina fire. And we deliver on Wednesdays and Saturdays. You can find us on our website at islandfreshdelivery.com. Another project our company started is called the Napili Farmers Market, which has been going now for over 10 years. It's the only farmers market right now on the west side, and we have about 25 vendors, all locally grown or locally made products. We offer a wide selection of locally grown produce, probably 50 items or more. We have live Hawaiian music. We have a smoothie bar, and just a great community event where people from the community can come and see their friends and neighbors and support the local food movement. Another part of our company is called Sattvic Kitchen, where we produce about 30 value-added products, mostly from local ingredients, and we distribute those to stores and farmers markets. We have cultured macadamia nut spreads, salad dressings, nut butters, salts from Hawaii that we add spices, organic spices to, honey, energy nuggets, and we're working on some new items at this time. And we plan on soon opening a Sattvic Kitchen restaurant in West Maui. So we'll let you know more about that later. As most people know, we did have an emergency here on Maui that happened in August of 2023, where there was a fire that wiped out most of the town of Lahaina, and people lost their homes. They did not have food. Supermarkets were closed. We had no internet, no electricity. So basically, we didn't have anything. And some people, I think the majority of people didn't save any food. And we were able to step up and provide food to those who were displaced by the fire. And we worked through several nonprofit organizations who also helped distribute the food. But ourselves, we set up a kind of farmers market style situation in Kanapali, where we were open 3 days a week and distributed about 9,000 pounds of food weekly, about $25,000 worth of food per week. And this went on for 7 months. At that point, we turned it over to mostly the nonprofit organizations who are continuing to provide food that they buy from us. Since they've gotten lots of donations, they're able to pay us for the food, and in turn we can pay our growers and keep our growers growing food. So creating a local food supply on Maui cannot be done by one company or one individual. It's really important for people to work together, organizations and companies to work together. And this slide shows some of the really great organizations that we've been able to collaborate with and improve our ability to move faster towards a local food supply for Hawaii. One organization that we're a part of is called the Hawaii Food Hub Hui. And this is 14 food hubs in Hawaii that work together. We have monthly meetings. We work together to obtain grant funding for expansion. The Food Hub Hui has a total organization, has gone from about 5 million in sales to 18 million in sales over the last 4 years. And also from about 600 growers to 1,600 growers in Hawaii. Just to give you an idea of the momentum that we have for creating a local food supply. Some of our future visions include something that's obvious. We have to build a supply of local food, but at the same time, we have to build a market. If you grow a lot of food but don't have a market for it, eventually that's not going to work. If you have a big market but you can't supply the demand, then that's not going to work either. So we have to build the supply and the demand at the same time. One way we're going to do that is contract with growers. Sometimes growers don't want to try something new if they're not guaranteed that they can sell it. So if we contract with them and guarantee that they'll be able to sell it to us, then they're more willing to try new things. Also, we want to build a supply of value-added products. You know, you walk into a store and how many local value-added products do you see? Not much. I'd say less than 2% of the packaged products on the islands are made locally. There's a tremendous potential there to create our own food supply through value-added packaged products. Also, we want to streamline our processes, computerize as much as possible, and make things more efficient. Because as we grow, we can only do it if we're doing it efficiently through working with the farms and customers, our computer systems, so many things that can be streamlined. Also, we want to develop the cooperative system where more people can share in the wealth of the economy, the food economy here on the islands, and that we can keep the prices low enough so people can afford local food, because that's an issue now. There's such large corporate farms on the mainland that can ship food, make food so cheaply. That's more difficult here on the islands. Everything costs more. You know, it costs more to ship in the seeds and the amendments, and it costs more for labor. You know, so all these things, if we do it cooperatively, we can keep those costs lower and provide more affordable food to the people. If we don't have a local food supply, we don't truly have freedom. Your food supply can be cut off at any time. We see that happening all over the world. So we need our own local food to even have our freedom. And all we need to do that is to have people put their words into action. Everyone's talking about, yeah, local food, local food. But we need to put that into action. And once we do, then we'll be able to have a local food supply. Part of that is buying local. We need to support the local businesses and the local farms. So just buying local is a big issue. If we do that, there'll be tremendous change, because if what people desire is local, then that's what the companies will provide. So buy local, the revolution starts with you.